Hello, everybody. What is going on? My name is Joseph. I'm going to be your low budget host of the day, and I'm doing the news video on Wednesday. So let's just get straight into the news today. Just remember to like, share, subscribe to this channel, and enjoy the content. So, this first bit of news, I have two articles on this one. I'm just going to use the most recent article because a lot has happened since last week. So anyway, this first bit of news, Yellowstone National Park is reopening. So by reopening, I mean it's just the southern half of the park. So anything like the south entrance from Grand Teton National Park, and all this, of course, is due to the serious flooding that was happening last week. A lot of damage was done to the northern part of Yellowstone. A lot of towns, a lot of communities have been deeply damaged by flooding in both Montana and in Wyoming as well, due to heavy rains and rapidly melting snow. It is, after all, a much warmer summer than it was last year already, so that's it's just par for the course. So yeah, I guess we'll go on to the next article because the next article will be a lot more interesting than this. Okay, so next article, New Mexico's wildfires. So, in a continuation of what I talked about last time, Calf Canyon Hermit's Peak fire, we all know, was the largest wildfire that New Mexico has ever recorded. Um, and in response to what Grisham has been criticizing the government for, BLM finally came out with their statement. And by BLM, I do not mean Black Lives Matter. I mean Bureau of Land Management. So it's a little confusing when alphabet agencies and protest groups have the same exact acronyms. So there's that. Anyway, um, the statement from BLM. So what they said was, these expectations, coupled with opportunity to implement during a narrow window when the crew was available, smoke dispersion was good, and prescribed fire area was forecast to be in prescription, led to acceptance of unforeseen risk. Okay, so to break down the weird circular argument that, or weird statement that they made that made no sense when I just read that, um, basically BLM had already reserved the prescribed burn area long ago. Back in 2018, they had this area already marked out for prescribed burn, and then they encountered a backlog of different forest areas to do prescribed burns on. So they didn't really get to it until April of this year. That being said, in response to what BLM said about unforeseen risk, Grisham came out or Governor Grisham of New Mexico came out and said, it is very difficult to understand how a plan crafted several years ago could be repeatedly reapproved without adjustments or considerations for updated drought conditions. She is correct. The question that a lot of people have right now for Bureau of Land Management is, why did you guys do it when the weather conditions were already poor and in drought conditions? And that, of course, is my criticism as well. I do not know why they actually issued the prescribed burn or went along with the prescribed burn whenever the wind was blowing 75 miles an hour in areas east of it. And downslope winds are just as strong as the valley winds, as we all know. So there's that. Plus, the drought conditions were bad. They already knew they were bad. I mean, we were already entering drought conditions. BLM admitted that there was less snowpack. So, yeah, this kind of just showcases some government incompetence. So that's that story. Now we'll move on to the next one. So this next article, last one, is more of a national news story, so this should be fun. It deals with 2024 presidential elections. Yes, next year is going to be the start of primaries for the presidential election. There will be obviously there will be quite a few debates, and and a lot of people are asking who's going to run on both sides, and I think the most interesting aspect about this election is the lack of support Biden is getting from his own party. And to kind of showcase this, Fox News posted an article just today on a Democratic strategist by the name of Axelrod. He was an Obama strategist, and he suggested his suggestion was Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom was, according to this guy, a very strong, handsome leader, which I'm not sure how that qualifies the governor of California for a presidential election, but at this point, I think the Democrats are just grasping at straws. So there's that. Um, there's not a lot of confidence with Biden right now. A lawyer by the name of Sheila Huggins, who's also a Democrat, was talking to the New York Times, and her statement about Biden, I think, is very interesting. It's Democrats need fresh, bold leadership for 2024 presidential race. That can't be Biden. Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest right now. People my age aren't. I mean, some of them are kind of enthusiastic still, but not to the level that they were in 2020. Of course, I wouldn't exactly call it enthusiasm that got Biden elected. What got him elected was people not liking Trump. That's pretty much it. Trump was unelected, not elect. He was yeah, and despite your views, despite everybody else's views on the 2020 election, mine included, I do believe that the same enthusiasm people had for Biden does not exist now anymore. Um, and also, he is old. That's something that a lot of different Democratic politicians have acknowledged, is the fact that he is getting up there in age, and by the time 2024 rolls around, he may actually be too old to be in office. It's And by too old, I mean he's already shown signs of mental decline. I know there will be people who will be mad at me for saying that, including probably the heads of the video service, but um, he is showing signs of mental decline, and a lot of Democratic politicians, younger ones, are starting to acknowledge that. So, in my personal opinion, and this is my theory on who they may try to trot out, they may try to trot out Gavin Newsom. I do believe they would try that, just because he's younger, and if Republicans do bring back Trump for 2024, they're going to need somebody stronger than Biden, and they're probably going to need somebody who can compete against Trump, and I think Democrats are starting to slowly realize that. And yeah, they also, in another funny statement, so we all know Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. We all know about her. Um, she actually had a very fun statement, and by fun I mean it's hilarious to listen to her in this interview. She was interviewed on CNN last week, talking about a potential endorsement for Biden, and she gave the most roundabout answer possible. And yeah, judging by her response and judging by how she responded in her interview, I do not think the enthusiasm exists, at least with her, on endorsing Biden. I'm sure she probably will endorse Biden because that's what the parties typically do with presidential incumbents if they choose to run. But this may be a different race entirely. So yeah, I'm just making speculation. Obviously, I have no clue what's going to happen in 2024. Right now, we need to focus on what's going to happen in the midterms this year. So in 2022, November, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, since if we're going to go by just standard political science, anything, usually the party that is in control loses. In control of the presidency typically loses anyways. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, that is all my news, all the news I got to cover for today. Keeping it relatively short this time. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.